Hello everyone. This is a tutorial video I call how to do all of the DES 104 assignments in under an hour. So I'm going to buzz through this pretty quickly. Do know that if you need a slower down version where I explain and re-explain everything really slowly, you can watch our weekly class session recordings, okay? Now let's get going. So I'm going to start with the week 1 assignment. And to do that, you just go to File, New, and we're going to make a document that is in pixels, and it's going to be 1024 by 768. The resolution is going to be 72, and I'm going to hit Create. Now I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to go to my paint bucket tool, select a color, make a new layer. I'm now going to select the rectangle tool, choose a different color, and I'm going to make sure I have shape mode selected at the top of the screen, and I'm going to draw a shape. There we go. Get rid of properties window. We don't need that. And I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to select rounded rectangle tool. Make rounded rectangle. There we go. And now I'll make a new layer, and I'm going to use, let's use a different color. And this time I'm going to use the ellipse tool. I'm going to hold down the shift button and draw an ellipse. Perfect. We are now done with the week 1 assignment. So I'm going to save this the correct way by going to File, Save As, and first saving the Photoshop document. I'm going to make a folder called DES104 underscore assignments, create, and I'm going to save this as DES104 underscore week 1 underscore your name dot PSD, and then hit save. And now I'm going to save this as a JPEG by going to File, Export, Save for Web. We're going to select JPEG and then hit Save. And now we're going to go back to our DES104 assignment, hit Save. And now we have both the JPEG and the PSD document for the week 1 assignment. Now we're going to do the week 1 assessment. So I'm going to go to File, Open. See, we did the assignment in 3 minutes, you guys. 3 minutes we did the assignment. So now I'm going to go to the assessment. And what we're going to do is unlock the background by double-clicking on it. And then I'm going to make a new layer by clicking the new layer icon or Shift-Command-N. Now I'm going to drag layer 1 underneath layer 0. I'm going to get my paint bucket tool out. Paint layer 1, all one solid color. Now I'm going to go up to layer 0 and change layer 0 from normal into multiply. And now I'm going to lock layer 0 by clicking on the little lock icon, the picture of a lock there. Now I'm going to go to my magic wand tool. I'll select a different color now. There we go. Command plus sign to zoom in real close. Make sure that I have layer 0 selected. And I'm going to start clicking on some shapes. And I'm going to hold down the shift button as I click my magic wand tool inside of these shapes. And the reason that I'm able to make selections inside these shapes is because I have layer 0 selected. And then I'm going to go down to layer 1, get my paint bucket tool from my tool panel, and click on layer 1. So see, now I used layer 0 to make the selections. And then I use layer 1 to color. So now I'm going to hit Command D. I'm going to get my magic wand tool out again. Let's select some more shapes. Let's now select a different color. Now I'm going to go down to layer 1. I'm going to get my paint bucket tool out, and I'm going to click Okay, so what you're going to do is go around this document. You have to use 4 colors total, and to get full credit, you will need to color the whole thing in. But remember, if you're desperate for time, just get something colored, get it turned in, so you can at least get passing points, right? I can help you pass the class if you just get something turned in. You don't have to make it perfect, okay? So now what we're going to do is go to File, Save As. We're going to save it as a Photoshop document into our desktop folder that we made, DES104 assessment rather, DES104 underscore week 1 assessment underscore your name .psd. Now I'm going to hit save. And now what we're going to do is save this as a JPEG by going to File, Export, Save for Web, JPEG high, and now hit save. And again, we're saving it to the folder that says DES104 assignment. Okay, cool. So we just I started this video at 12:05, and we've just done all of the week 1 assignments in 6 minutes, okay? So the week 1 assignment took us 3 minutes. The week 1 assessment took us another 3 minutes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the week 2 pictures, and you have 4 pictures in the classroom to choose from, but you only have to retouch 2 of them, okay? So the Harley picture, again, we're going to do bare minimum. We're just going to do what it takes to get a passing grade in this class, okay? So I'm going to Command plus sign to zoom in. I am going to get my spot healing tool out, which looks like a little Band-Aid with a dotted circle behind it. I am going to make sure Sample All Layers is checked at the top of the screen. Command plus sign to zoom in, and I'm going to go around this picture and scrub, 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 scrub all of her pimples away. Okay, so see, you're going to go and you're going to scrub, 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 and you're going to scrub all of her pimples away. Okay, and so spend a few minutes doing that with the spot healing tool, right? You could even do a little of this here, okay? Spot healing tool. Now, we have to use an adjustment layer as well in order to earn full credit. So the adjustment layer that I'm going to use on this is the curves in order to colorize her lips, okay? So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to get out my lasso tool, and I am going to, again, select the new selection option, which is just the square at the top of the screen. Trace, 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 trace. And now I'm going to remove the lip ring from the selection by clicking the Subtract from Selection option up at the top of the screen, which is the white box that's being intersected by the dark box. And then I'm going to use that to trace, 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 and get rid of her lip ring. Now I'm going to go to the circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel. And I'm going to click on Curves, and then I'm going to lower this line on Curves. So see, now we've added some lipstick to her, and I'm going to soften the edge of the lipstick by double clicking on the layer mask icon here, the black shape next to Curves, and I'm going to increase the feathering. So now it's all blended. So now we've met 2 of the requirements for this picture. We have used spot healing, and we have used an adjustment layer, and now we have to use a tool of our choice. And one that students really like to do is recolor her eyes. So I'm going to make a new layer. Get my paintbrush tool out. Let's give her pink eyes. Why not? Make a new layer, and with my paintbrush, I'm going to paint her irises. And then I'm going to change the blending mode of this layer 3 where I painted her irises from normal to color. And I'm going to slightly lower the opacity a little bit. So now she has pink eyes, okay? So now what we're going to do is take a screenshot of this because the screenshot is required for submission. So I'm going to hit Shift-Command-4 if you are on a Mac. And I need to see all of your layers as well as the picture. And that's a screenshot. And then we're also going to save a JPEG by going to File, Export, Save for Web, JPEG High, hit Save. Save this to the DES104 assignment. We'll call this DES104 _ week 2 assignment A, your name, .jpg. Okay, and now we're going to save the, do the man. So I'm going to go File, Open. This is a 2-part assignment. So we have to do her, and then we have to do the man. So the first thing we're going to do on him is adjust the color. So we're going to go down to the circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel. And we're going to click on Color Balance. And we're going to drag our slider away from yellow into blue and halfway away from red into cyan. And then we're going to go from midtones to highlights and drag our slider all the way into blue and then halfway from red into cyan. Now we have to get rid of his little white collar there. So I'm going to go to my clone stamp tool. Make sure Sample All Layers is checked at the top of the screen. Command plus sign, Command plus sign, Command plus sign to zoom in. Navigate over by using 2 fingers on the trackpad. Now I'm going to hold down the Alt or Option button on my keyboard. Click on my trackpad to take a sample of this black area of his shirt. Paint, 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 paint. Cover up that tag. And now we can do a third tool of our choice. Many students like to colorize his hair or colorize his lips. So we can use a little paintbrush here. We can paint, 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 paint. All right, and then we can change this from normal to color. And if we want, we can lower our opacity a little bit to make it look a little bit more natural. There we go. And now we're going to go and take our screenshot by hitting Shift Command 4, taking a screenshot of the picture and the layers, and then saving this as a JPEG by going to File, Export, Save for Web, JPEG High, hit Save. And then we're going to save this as DES104 _ week 2 assignment B _ your name. Okay, now we've done the week 1 assignments, and the week 2 assignment took us about 7 minutes. And now what we're going to do is do the week 2 assessment, which is, oh gosh, I did not download it. Venture over into the classroom. And what we're going to do is download this assessment image right here. And we're going to go to File, Open. Week 2 Assessment B. And now what we're going to do is first make a black and white layer. So we're going to go down to the circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel. Click on black and white. You can feel free to adjust these if you want. And now what we're going to do is select the headscarf by clicking on the background layer, making sure the background layer is selected. Then I'm going to go to the Quick Selection tool, which is on the same button as the Magic Wand tool. The Quick Selection tool looks like a little paintbrush with a dotted circle behind it. Again, you have to make sure that you have the background layer selected in order to make this work. And now what we're going to do is push out the edges of our selection so that it completely selects her headscarf. And you can shrink down the size of your brush by using the bracket keys if you want. Oh, and we have to make sure that we are on the Add to Selection option up at the top of the screen, which is the paintbrush with the little plus sign next to it. Okay, now we have a little bit of an error here, so I'm using the paintbrush with the minus sign next to it to fix that, and a little paintbrush with the plus sign next to it to fix that. And now what I'm going to do is go and select the black and white layer, because I'm going to put a new layer above the black and white layer, and that is the color layer. So I'm going to go to the create a new adjustment layer icon, which is a circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel. And I'm going to click on solid color. Click any old color I want. Now I'm going to change the blending mode of this color fill from normal. See where it says normal here? I'm going to change this down to color, which is at the bottom. Good. See that little mess up there? Our goal here is just getting it done, not getting it perfect. So I'm going to ignore that for now. And now what we're going to do is click on the circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel. And we're going to click on gradient. That's the second option from the top. Do not use gradient map. Do not use gradient map. Just use regular gradient. We're going to select the black and white gradient. We're going to change the style of the gradient from linear to radial. We're going to click reverse, increase the scale to about 120 or somewhere around there. That's fine. And now we're going to change the blending mode of this gradient from normal to multiply. Now what we're going to do is click on the circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel and change this to the photo filter. And you can use any photo filter you want, just to increase the density so we can actually see the effect that it has. And now what we're going to do is take a screenshot, Shift-Command-4, and this screenshot is what you will be submitting to the gradebook. And we're also going to save a JPEG. So we're going to go to File, Export, Save for Web, File, Export, Save for Web. JPEG high, and then hit Save. And we'll call this DES104 _ week 2 assessment _ your name. Okay, we are at 12:22, so we started this at 12:05, and so we've done this pretty quickly. We've done this in about 17 minutes so far. 17 minutes for all the week 1 and the week 2 assignments. So now I'm going to go to File, New, and we're going to start the week 3 assignment. And the size for this is going to be in inches, and the width is going to be 7, and the height is going to be 5. We're going to hit Create. Now we're going to place all of the week 3 pictures onto this document by starting with the background and moving forward. So we're going to go to File, Place Embedded, File, Place Embedded, and we're going to click on the background and then hit Place. And now we're going to click on the corners and drag at a diagonal angle upward. Click on the corner, drag at a diagonal angle downward, and we're going to move this into position there, hit Enter or Return. Now I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and we're going to select the animal, and we're going to hit Place. We're going to click on the corner, click and drag downward, and then hit Enter or Return. Now I'm going to hit File, Place Embedded. We're going to click on the hat, Place, click on the corner, drag downward. Estimate it, Enter, Return, Place. And now we're going to hit File, Place Embedded. Magic wand, there we go, Place. We got to flip it, so I'm going to go to Edit up at the top of the screen, Transform, and then Flip Horizontal. Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. Click on the corner, drag downward to shrink it. Enter, Return to Place. Now I'm going to Command + to zoom in. I am going to hit the Polygon Lasso tool, and we're going to outline this with the polygon lasso tool, staying inside the pixels. We want to avoid getting any white pixels to show through. And now what we're going to do after we've completely enclosed our selection, we're going to click on the square with the circle inside of it at the bottom of the layer panel. Okay. Now I'm going to click on the hat layer. I'm going to get the brush with the little dotted circle behind it. That's the quick selection tool. I'm going to get this quick selection tool out. Paint, 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 paint. I've now selected the hat. Now I'm going to click the square with the circle inside of it. Now I'm going to get the move tool out and move it into place. Obviously, it's kind of pixelated. The edge needs cleaning up, which in the class session, I show you how to clean this up using the brush tool. But our goal with this video is just getting it done, not getting it perfect. So I am going to, if you want to make it perfect, go watch the class session where I demonstrate how to make it perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to hit the brush tool, the regular standard brush tool. Make sure that my brush is at 100% hardness. And I'm going to hit the letter D on my keyboard to reset my foreground and background colors to pure black and white. And now I'm going to hit the letter Q on my keyboard to start painting in quick mask mode. And so I'm going to paint, 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 paint this guy in quick mask mode in order to make a selection. Get that little ear in. Hit X to fix your mistakes. Use the brackets on your keyboard next to the letter P to increase and decrease the size of your brush. And then after you have completely painted in the animal, then you're going to hit the letter Q again. The problem here is that you have completely selected everything except for the animal, so you need to invert your selection by hitting Shift Command I. Shift Command I to invert your selection. And so now I'm going to hit the square with a circle inside of it at the bottom of the layer panel to turn this into a mask. And I'm going to ever so slightly Command T and rotate so he's on the ground a little bit better. Okay, now we have to add a little bit of shading. So I'm going to hit the background, make a new layer. And I'm going to use a soft edge brush to paint a line above the animal. And then after I have painted that line above the animal on layer 1, I'm going to use my move tool and move this down here underneath him. And now I'm going to squish this in order to make a little shadow underneath him. So I'm going to hit the Shift button. And then I'm going to click on the top square. And while holding down the Shift button, I'm going to click and drag, click and drag, click and drag. And now we have a shadow underneath him, okay? Now I'm going to click on Animal 2, make a new layer above Animal 2, hold down the Alt or Option button to clip layer 2 into Animal 2. Get my brush out, paint, 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 paint shadows. Lower the opacity of the shadow, lower the opacity of shadow on layer 1 as well. Forgot to do that. Now we're going to do the same thing on the hat. So again, I'm going to make a new layer above the hat. Hold down the Alt button if you're on a PC, the Option button if you're on a Mac, and click on the line between layer 3 and hat 3. And then you can see I'm making a little shadow there, then lowering the opacity of that shadow. And then I'm going to click on Prop 2, make a new layer above Prop 2, hold down the Alt or Option button and clip layer 4 inside Prop 2. You can see, make a little shading on there. Now I'm going to add a few additional adjustment layers. So we're going to add a gradient just like we did for the week 2 assessment. So I'm going to click on the circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel. Click on gradient. I'm going to select the black and white gradient. I am going to change style from linear to radial. I'm going to click reverse. I'm going to increase the scale a little bit. And now in order to see it, I'm going to change the blending mode from normal to multiply. Now I'm going to add a photo filter. So I'm going to click on the circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel. And I'm going to click on photo filter, increase the density of the photo filter, and call it good. And this is what you're going to be turning in as a Photoshop document, as a PSD. So we're going to go to File, Save As. We're going to go to our desktop folder, which is DES104 assignments. And we're going to name this DES104 _ week 3 _ assignment _ your name. And what you're submitting is a Photoshop document. So it should say format Photoshop, and the file extension should be .psd. And then you're going to hit save. Okay, so now we have done the week 1 through 3 assignments. Your assessment for week 3 is a quiz, which you can take over and over again as many times as you want until you get 50 points on it. So we've done this all in less than 30 minutes. We've done week 1 through 3 in less than 30 minutes. Let's see how long it takes us to do the week 4 work. And so week 4, you're making a poster. Let me go to home. There we go. So you can use any subject that you want. And what we're going to do is click on some of these provided images here and download them. Download these images. And we're making a document that is 17 inches tall and 11 inches wide. So I'm going to go to File, New. And the width is going to be 11. The height is going to be 17. The resolution is going to be 300. Okay, I'm going to make a new layer. And what I'm going to do is find the exact center of this document by going up to Photoshop, Preferences, Guides, Grid, and Slices. And I'm going to make a grid line every 50% here. And then I'm going to hit Command apostrophe to find the exact center of my document. Now I'm going to go to my shape tools, and you guys, again, feel free to copy exactly what I do here. I just want you to get something in so that you can get, you know, a passing grade in this class. So I'm going to use a little heart here, so feel free to copy exactly what I do here. Hold down the Shift button, draw a little heart, and what I'm going to do is put 3 images inside this heart. So I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded. Going to look at some of the pictures I've downloaded. This little guy. Resize him so he's about the size of that heart. There we go. Enter, return. And now I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded. This little guy here. Place. Enter, return, and then File, Place Embedded. Get that guy, this little guy here. Okay, so see how I've placed all of these photos kind of in the vicinity of the heart. Now what I'm going to do is clip them inside the heart shape by hovering my cursor between the animal layer and the shape layer. And then I'm going to hold down the Option button on my keyboard, Option if you're on a Mac, Alt if you're on a PC, and click. So again, place my cursor between the line between the two layers, hold down the Option button and click. Line between the two layers, Option button, click. So now all those pictures are inside the heart. Now I just have to mask them so it looks like a nice collage. So I'm going to click on the square with the circle inside of it at the bottom of the layer panel in order to apply the layer mask to the layer that I selected. I'm going to use my brush tool, make sure I'm using a nice soft brush with the color black, and I'm going to paint, paint, paint. Now I'm going to look on the sky, make a new layer mask, paint, paint, paint. So see how we've made a little collage here? Now what I'm going to do is add some text. Make a new layer above this all, get my text tool out, and I'm going to type in be kind. I'm going to use black, and I'm going to increase the size of this by using my move tool. There we go. Make a new layer, text tool, move tool to change the size, resize from the corner, resize from the corner. The guidelines help us. Make a new layer. We have to put a website URL on here, so I'm going to get my text tool out. How about Acumen? I like this one because it's very simple. I'm going to click on the center line here, and I'm going to make up a fake website URL, www.bekind.org. And I'm going to make this a little bit smaller by highlighting it and changing the size up here and lowering the opacity so it's not so in your face. Okay, now I am going to get rid of these guidelines by hitting Command apostrophe. And now I'm going to save this. So what it's asking you to do is first save a Photoshop document. No, so not a Photoshop document, a PDF. So we're going to rasterize and merge all these layers together. So I'm going to hit Shift Command Option E, Shift Command Option E, and then that merges all of our layers together without deleting them. And then I'm going to go up to Layer at the top of the screen, and I'm going to click Rasterize All Layers. And now I'm going to go to Image Mode, and I'm going to change this to CMYK Color Mode. Don't flatten. Okay. And now I'm going to go to File, Save As, and we're going to select Photoshop PDF. And again, we're going to the folder that we've made for all of our assignments, the DES104 assignment folder. Now I'm going to change this name to DES104_week 4 assignments, your name. And this is and we're going to uncheck layers here. We're going to hit save. For Adobe PDF preset, we're going to change this to smallest file size and then hit save PDF. Alrighty, now what we're going to do is save this as a JPEG. So we're going to go up to Image Mode and then select RGB. Don't flatten. And now we're going to go to Image Size. And we're going to change the resolution to 72. And we're going to change the width to 500. And if your width and height are constrained, then the height will automatically change to 773. So it should end up being 500 pixels by 773 pixels, resolution 72. Click OK. And now we're going to go to File, Export, Save for Web, JPEG High. and then hit save. Name this DES104 underscore week 4 underscore your name .jpg. And that JPEG and that PDF is what is required for your week 4 submission. And now what we're going to do is do our final week 4 assessment, where we put these textures over this image. So we have successfully done all of the assignments so far, except for the assessment, in 35 minutes. Pretty good. So now I'm going to click on the download this image file to download here. I'm going to click on texture 1 to download. I'm going to click on texture 2 to download, texture 3 to download, and texture 4 to download. And just a heads up, you might get an error message when you download texture 3. Sorry, texture 2. You might get an error message when you download texture 2. Ignore it because there's a special thing that you're going to be doing with texture 2, and I'm going to walk you through how to do that. So the first thing, before we use texture 2, we have to convert it to a JPEG because it is an EPS file. So what we're going to do is go in Photoshop, we're going to go File, Open. Go to our Downloads folder, find texture 2. Oh, they changed it. Now texture 2 is already a JPEG. You used to have to convert it, and now you don't anymore. So now what we're going to do is just open up this document, and we're going to place all of our textures on this document nice and aligned. So the first thing we have to do, though, is make nice little guidelines to help us. So I'm going to Command + to zoom in really close. I'm going to click on the ruler on the left side of your Photoshop and bring it right into the center and right into the center. So now we've made some little guidelines that'll help us place our textures without overlapping them. Now I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded. Bring in texture 1. Resize it. Place it over there, hit Enter, Return. File, Place Embedded. Texture 2. Place, shrink it down, move it over here, Enter, Return. File, Place Embedded. Texture 3. Shrink it down, move it over here, Enter, Return. File, Place Embedded. Texture 4. Place, shrink it down, move it over here, snap into place, and then hit Enter, Return. Okay, so now you have placed all of these textures on your document. Now you are going to select blending modes that will allow you to see both the tree and the texture. So texture 4 is the hardest because it is very, very light, and I would personally recommend using the pin light texture, the pin light blending mode rather, for the texture 4. So now we're going to change the blending mode on texture 3. Anything will look good. I recommend hard light. Texture 2, click on that, then go up to the blending modes and change it to whatever you want. Multiply looks really good. We're going to use multiply. And now I'm going to click on texture 1, go up to the blending modes, choose any blending mode I want. How about overlay? Now I'm going to click on my topmost layer and throw a hue saturation over this by going down to the circle that's light on one side, dark on the other at the bottom of the layer panel, clicking on hue saturation. You can click colorize if you want. It really doesn't matter. Choose whatever color you want. And then we're going to save this as a JPEG, and this JPEG is what you're going to be turning in. So you're going to go to File, Export, Save for Web. File, export, save for web. JPEG high, and then hit save. All right, and then you'll name it DES104 underscore week for assessment underscore your name, save. So we have just completed all of the assignments and assessments in DES104 in 40 minutes. And I know I went through this really, really fast. If you want a slowed down, very, very, very slow, step-by-step instruction on how to do all of your assignments, watch our weekly class sessions where I go very, very slowly. I repeat myself over and over again. And also remember, if you need one-on-one help with your assignments, I am available on usually Tuesdays and Wednesdays during my multi-session. Check the live sessions page in the classroom. You can come in. You can also text me anytime, email me anytime, and I will be happy to hop onto Zoom and help you. But like I said, we just want you to get past this class. We just want you to pass. So if you have 40 minutes, you can pass this class, okay, and save yourself $1,500. Because that's what it costs if you fail a class, $1,500, okay? So let's get you passing this class, and reach out if you need anything.